So, gotta check this out. Gotta make sure the sound's there right, my bad. UFC 251, first fights in Abu Dhabi. Fight Island. Bang, the sound's working. They got a great card, 3 title fight kind of night on the. There's only 4 main card or 5 main card fights, and 3 of them are title fights. So, first one they're going to start off with Amanda Ribas versus Paige Vanzant. Ribas 4-1. Her only loss was a TKO loss to Paulina Viana at Jungle Fight 83 in 2015. She's 3-0 in the UFC. She's got wins over Emily Whitmire, Mackenzie Dern, and Branda Marcos. Paige Vanzant's 8-4, never been knocked out, only been submitted twice. 5-3 in the UFC. She got wins over Rachel Ostovich, which was the last fight, which was all the way in January of 2019. So it's been a minute for Paige Vanzant. She also has wins over Beck Rollins and Felicia Herrig, my bad, not Felicia Spencer. She got lost to Tisha Torres, Rose Namajunas, Michelle Waterston, and Jessica Rose Clark. I think everybody's picking Ribas to win, up and comer. Only loss was a TKO loss to Paulina Viana, and that was only 5 years ago. Paige Vanzant has beat the likes of Rose Namajunas, or not Rose, Beck Rollins, Felicia Herrig, big names in that division. So I'm going to give it to Paige Vanzant by decision with the striking. Paige wins, I agree. Burns KO Usman, I don't think so. Max beats up Alex, that's my guess too. That's a KO, yeah. I think, man, you're fine not trolling, I don't think, man. I don't think Burns knocks out Usman, but you're on the right track, I think. You're somewhere. You're barking up the right tree nowadays. Now that you're not all over Conor McGregor. The second fight, Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade. Their last fight was when Rose lost her title to Jessica Andrade. She held that Kimura too long, got slammed on her head, knocked out. That was her last fight, May 11, 2019. She's 8-4, 5 out of 8 of her wins via submission, 6-3 in the UFC. 1-1 since 2018, which includes her fight prior to that, and then the Jessica Andrade fight. Andrade has only fought once since that fight, and that was her losing her title to Weili Zhang, the now champion. Burns at least comes close to TKO Usman. No. Close? No. Just to pause the Rose Namajunas thing for a minute and go to Gregory saying that Burns is he at least comes close to TKO Usman. I think it really depends on what happened in the training room. I think if anybody has footage of that, will be a little bit more insight to how the fight's going to be fought. But nah, I think everybody's got a chance at that weight. That has decent power, has a good chance of TKOing somebody in their own weight class. But I think Usman's going to outclass him the whole entire fight. Jessica Andrade, like I said, lost her belt in the last fight. She is 20-7, 14 out of 20 of her wins via finish. She's 3-1 since 2018, so she's fought double what Rose Namajunas has fought since 2018. I'm gonna pick with my heart, man. My picks have honestly been garbage for like the past couple weeks, so I'm going with my heart. And I'm gonna say Rose Namajunas by decision. I hope she's gonna come in there ready, man. There's gonna be a lot of power with Andrade, so I think I'm gonna be praying on that one. Peter Yan versus Jose Aldo for the bantamweight title, the vacant bantamweight title. Yan is 14-1. His only loss was to Magomedov at ACB 32 in 2016. He's 6-0 in the UFC with wins over Tirito Ishihara, Jin Soo Son, Douglas Silva de Andrade, John Dodson, Jimmy Rivera, and then most recently Uriah Faber. Aldo 28-6, 2-4 since 2017, 17 out of 28 of his wins via TKO or knockout. He's won 18 straight fights at one time. Let's not forget he was one of the best featherweights of all time at one point. having a winning streak that went from 2006 to 2014, 8 years long. He has wins over Cub Swanson, Uriah Faber, Mike Brown, Chad Mendez twice, Frankie Edgar, Kenny Florian, the who's who at the 145 weight class in his prime. He is 0-1 since dropping down to bantamweight, losing his debut to Marlon Moraes December 2019, and then turns around and gets a title shot. I guess the luck of being one of the greatest of all time. I think it's a very winnable fight for him. I want to say the boxing of Jan would win because that's what I would be more entertained by watching. But everybody knows boxers come heavy on that leg, and Jose Aldo kills them leg kicks. So if he can kind of implement his leg kicks really heavy in the first couple rounds, I think they'll do pretty good. Let's get that out of here. Yeah, man, no offense, Mr. Muay Thai, but last time political shit got on here, I fucking got kicked off. So keep that political shit the fuck out of here, please. And no cursing. If you curse, I gotta delete it. I could curse, you can't curse though. But I got Jose Aldo delivering leg kicks, somehow able to stop him in the later rounds, just based off of wearing him down. F you too, man. I have to hide that. I love you, man. Just no political shit. So we're talking about fights here, man. I don't give a goddamn about political shit. That's not this kind of channel. And I don't think he will knock out Peter Yan, man. I think that's a tough fight for you, Greg, and he probably TKOs you within the first, second round, to be honest. Woo. Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, too, 145-pound title. After Jose Aldo, Max Holloway was probably the best featherweight of his time. This will be his 23rd UFC fight. He's 21-5. He's never been knocked out. 1-2 since 2019 with losses to Poirier and Volkanovski. He's got two. He also went on a crazy tear. He was 13-fight winning streak at one point with 2 wins over the before him GOAT of what featherweight, Jose Aldo. So Jose passed the torch to Max. Now in this fight, we're going to see if 21-1 Alexander Volkanovski can take the torch from Max Holloway. His only loss was a TKO loss to Corey Nelson at AFC 7 in December 2013, so 7 years ago. He's 8-0 in the UFC. His biggest wins over Jose Aldo and Max Holloway. We've been talking about featherweight goats. He's beat both of them in his last 2 fights. So, I mean, the confidence has to be with him. I'm sure he's going to be a betting favorite. Once again, picks have sucked. Don't really care. I'm going to go with my heart here. I want Max Holloway to get that belt back. So I'm going Max Holloway, outworking him. Just figuring out what he did wrong in the last fight and getting it right in this one. Main event, Greg says Burns by knockout. Gilbert Burns versus Kamaru Usman, welterweight title. Pretty much Burns got the title shot because the title shot was supposed to go to Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal's having his contract issues where he's calling out the UFC for the low fighter pay, and he's not wanting to fight. So, boom, he's out. Next option probably would have been Leon Edwards. He couldn't get approval to get out of London. So, next option down, Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns just came off a win over Tyron Woodley. So he's top other than those other 2. So he took the fight. He gets in there, and it seems like he has been MIA for a long time, Lole. I don't think he's officially retired, but he hasn't fought in a long time, and I think retirement definitely is a question in his mind. To see if he acts on it yet or if he waits around. Honestly, 170 is really hard to get a fight. There's a lot of guys at 170 that are trying real hard to get fights. Jeff Neal. I know Michael Chiesa has been trying for a minute. Who else? There's a bunch of 170-pound guys that are just trying to get fights that are in like a weird position right now because of the log jam at the top of 170. But I don't think he's officially retired, but I think it might be on the horizon sometime soon. Gilbert Burns, Usman, I talked to Greg a little bit earlier about it. I think it comes down to more of how it was their sparring matches at Black Zillions, whatever they call their gym now. How were those sparring sessions like? Do they know how to beat each other? Did Gilbert Burns ever get the better of Kamaru Usman in the training room? If he did, does he remember how he did it? There's a bunch of things that you have to go through. You have to watch a lot of tape, especially two guys that used to train at the same place. Usman taking his camp to Elevation with Justin Gaethje. He's falling in love with Justin Gaethje right now. I don't know. I think the change of scenery will be good for him. 170-pound champ by 2020. I don't think so. I think if Perry wants to be champ, he's got a long road to go. If he takes this personal beef with Darren Till a little too far, I think he's going to go up and fight at 185, and it's just going to completely stall his career at 170 because it's not going to count for anything at 170. And I don't think 2021 would be realistic for Perry. I think if Perry can get a good string of fights going, and he might have a chance 2022. Could be cutting it close, but 2021 probably not. 2020 is pretty much over as far as welterweight. There's going to be this title fight, and then there will be a couple more welterweight fights throughout the year. But I don't think there's anything. Masvidal is going to log jam it for a good bit. He is too small for 185, but he cuts a decent amount of weight to get to 170. He just walks around big. He's a big guy. If you've ever seen him in person, he's a really, really big, stocky kind of guy. So I mean, he probably wouldn't have to cut that much weight to 185, which I'm sure would be good with him. And he would still be strong. Like you seen him in the Mickey Gall fight, he was way too strong for Mickey Gall. And at 170, Mickey Gall's a decent sized guy at 170. And just the strength of Perry is just way overmatched Mickey Gall in that fight. So it's hard to say. I don't know if I've picked him yet already, but I picked Usman. Excuse me. The rest of the card is Volkanovski versus Jiri Praxaka. Elizio Zaleski dos Santos versus Muzan Sakhalov, Makwan Americani versus Danny Henry, Leonardo Santos versus Roman Bakhtov, Marcin Tybura versus Alexander Romanov, Rulen Peva versus Zalkas Zamagalov. It got to be in Abu Dhabi, right? Fuck. Carol Rosa versus Vanessa Mello. That's a decent one. Davey Grant versus Martin Day. There's a bunch of good fights on the card, man. But the main focus is going to be 150% on that main card. It's a really big main card. Not this Saturday, but a week from Saturday. Connor one shot to Usman for the belt like he did all day crazy. Man, dude, Greg, I just earlier admitted that you were doing decent on not trolling, but Connor doesn't come back to 170 and win pretty much any fights. I talk to my boy about this all the time. He thinks that Conor McGregor would do so good at 170. Now, I tell you, a list of people that he beats in the top 15 at 170 are very, very slim. That I give him chances to beat. There's certain people I don't give him chances to beat. You know what I mean? I don't give him chance to beat Usman. I don't give him chance really to beat Burns. I don't give him a chance really to beat Masvidal. I don't give him a chance to beat Covington. No chance against might have a chance against Leon Edwards. It might be a fight that I could see him winning. But dude, I mean, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of 170 fights that I feel comfortable saying Conor McGregor's got a good chance of winning this fight. So no, he's not. He will not fight at 170 in a big fight like that, and he definitely won't be fighting Usman. And if he does, his career is probably over. But you're asking me about Robbie Lawler. I mean, you should be asking me about Conor McGregor. He's retired. He says he's retired. No, Conor doesn't beat either one of those three guys, no matter what happens. No matter what happens, man. Those three guys would I would put the house on those three guys over McGregor every time. Because that's those three fights are really, really hard for McGregor. Guarantee. Just that size difference, man. It's the same. It's somewhat the same style of power. It's a little bit more. It's a little bit more quickness. It's a little bit more. I guess just Lawler versus McGregor now. I don't think McGregor talks about a fight. Here's the problem with Masvidal, Diaz, Jones, McGregor. They all price themselves out. So they price themselves to be, okay, we think we're big enough, we get this much money. So they don't want less than that much money. They're not going to get what they're asking for without points in the gate, without, just so selling merchandise and when in fights, anything that they can make money on that they're not without fans and a legitimate, a venue where they could sell other things inside of other than the UFC store. The store's always open, but there's just other ways that they got to make money that they're not willing to. They need that kind of money. They're that kind of popular people. The Masvidal, the Jones, the Conor McGregor. They're the type popular that get you to buy tickets and get you to buy merchandise and get you to do this because it's a big event. You want like a souvenir of that event. You know what I mean? So it's a lot more likely that they make a lot of money on that shit. And Ngannou knocks out Jones by the end of the year. See, you're talking about another guy. Jones is probably not going to fight until fans come back. You probably won't see McGregor, Jones, or Masvidal until fans come back. Until they start letting fans back in the arenas. You won't see either three of those guys. Just not willing to do it, man. Probably not Diaz either. I mean, I think if you got something big enough, Diaz would probably do it, but it'd be hard. Hard to get any of those guys, man, to fight by the end of the year. Just because of what's going on. It's hard to say that we're going to have fans in the stands by the end of the year. Fights Woodley when he eventually returns. I could see that. That's a decent one, and I could see that going down with no fans. So I could see that coming soon. Like a last chance type thing for Woodley. But that's a tough one, man. That's a fight nobody wanted to see. Everybody wanted to see Woodley win that fight, and now you got a Woodley that is somewhat compromised his last two fights, being dominated pretty much every single round. So, it's a tough break for Woodley. It's a hard fight too for Woodley. So, yeah, I know, man. But we did the picks this Saturday because if any changes happen to the injuries, replacements, anything like that, we want to be able to talk about it next week. If not, then we will be off for a week and we won't see you guys for 2 weeks. So the Tuesday after UFC 251 will be the next time we're back, unless something goes down in the MMA world, man. Anything goes down that seems like it would be current events the way me and Gregory could bullshit about, I'll be back here and we'll be talking about it. But if not, see you guys in 2 weeks. Look for my shit on MMA Sucker and CageSidePress.com. Both of those websites I'll be writing articles for. Make sure you check them out, share them wherever you can. Fuck with me, dog.